UFC Des Moines has wrapped up, and overall it was a pretty good card, boys. We had lots of finishes on this card, including Cory Sanhagen getting back in the win column against Devon Figuredo, a second round knockout. Obviously, we had Reinier kneeing Bo Nickel in his sternum, sending Bo Nickel back to the shadow realm, dude. Go back to college, dude, because you're not good enough. I have a video coming about Bo Nickel tomorrow because the prospects, it's not a good year for UFC prospects. Santiago Ponzinibbio got knocked out by D-Rod, and it was a pretty entertaining fight throughout the whole thing. We had Ryan Lauder getting knocked out by Ozmat Bekov. We had Gillian Robertson, who's actually looking pretty good, dude. She's coming off 4 wins now. She retired Marina Rodriguez. Obviously, Gaston Bolanos got submitted by Li Kwang. And Thomas Pearson, 30-25 Dontel Mays. So that was pretty entertaining. Obviously, this was a good card. So let's talk a little bit about Reinier versus Bo Nickel. Obviously, dude, I predicted Bo Nickel to win, and I know that looks a little bit silly looking at after it, and I honestly was really confident in Bo Nickel. I thought Bo Nickel had just plot armor, and I know that's something stupid, but fighters have plot armor, dude. There is such thing as UFC fighters who have plot armor. Dricus du Plessis, our middleweight champion. This guy has so much plot armor for no reason. On paper, Dricus du Plessis striking, it's sloppy, it shouldn't be good. On paper, Dricus du Plessis takedown entries, they're sloppy, they shouldn't be good. But he's inevitable, dude. And John Jones, literally the greatest fighter of all time. John Jones clearly lost that fight against Reyes, but the decision did not go in Reyes' favor. Somehow John Jones pulled out of the bag, and I seriously thought that if this went to a close decision, who are the judges going to favor? Reinier, who's a one double champ, who obviously UFC wants to go out there and prove that, whoa, one's not good enough. One, you can't come into UFC expecting to be good. And or the guy who is one of the most hyped up prospects ever in Bo Nickel. They're probably going to favor Bo Nickel if this goes to a close decision, or if it went to a close decision, because obviously, like I said earlier, Reinier just absolutely obliterated Bo Nickel. It was clear that Bo Nickel was not on Reinier level, dude, and it's sad that I even predicted him, and I got a lot of hate comments saying that I'm a clown, I'm an idiot, don't ever predict again, and obviously, I had a horrible prediction, dude. Reinier, I think it's time to start talking about this guy as a real prospect, because Reinier, he's only 34, he has so experience, dude. He's 20-2 now, that's a great record, and he's picked up good wins in ONE FC, obviously. I am very excited to see where Reinier can go. I'm going to be matchmaking these fighters later in the video, so you'll see who I matchmake Reinier against. But Reinier just has so much potential, dude. This guy, I doubted him, and I feel bad for doubting him because I actually really like Reinier. I watched some of his fights in ONE Championship when he was fighting there, and I've watched all 3 of his fights in the UFC, and he's just super entertaining. He's a super fun personality. Reinier might be one of my favorite fighters in the UFC right now. I know it kind of sounds crazy that I'm switching up, but he obliterated Bo Nickel. He's a fun fighter, dude. Good personality. He's active, you know. He's had 3 fights in the span of like 6 months. So it's good that Reinier is in the UFC. And I think there is big things to come for this guy. Bo Nickel, dude, I don't know what's next for you. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But the main event, Cory Sanhagen defeating Devon Figuredo. And what was actually just a heel hook fest, dude. The whole first round, these guys were just throwing heel hooks back and forth. It wasn't that entertaining. The second round, obviously, they were on some weird heel hook position with their legs interlocked. And Figgy did some weird movement. He went forward, and he popped his knee out of his socket. Then he fell back, and he tapped out. Cory Sanhagen was just pouring strikes on him. And, dude, I feel bad for Figgy, obviously, because he only suffered like 2 losses at flyweight in his entire flyweight career. And now he's coming on 2 straight losses in his 30-fight career. He's never lost two fights in a row. So it's sad for Figueredo, but I don't know how good Figgy is, dude. He's old. He's like 37 now. And he's going up a division in bantamweight, which it's fun, you know. I understand, Figgy. You've been around for a while, but dude, you're coming off a really bad injury, getting your knee popped out of your socket. You'll probably be out for a while. I would retire if I was you, Figgy. You know, you had a great career, one of the flyweight goats, and don't ruin your legacy by just suffering a couple extra losses at bantamweight. You know, I guess he can also help his legacy by picking up some wins at bantamweight, like wins over some cheeky guys like Rob Font, and we'll talk about who I want him to face next. But I don't want Figgy to ruin his career. In terms of Sanhagen, he called for a title shot. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not a fan of that idea. I think Cory Sanhagen, you know, you beat Devon Figuredo, but Peter Yan beat Devon Figueredo first in the bantamweight division. You're not special. Cory Sanhagen, you got dominated by Umar Nurmagomedov. Maybe not dominated, but Umar just just dismantled you technically. And every single time Cory Sanhagen, he's in a big fight, he fumbles, dude. He lost that Aljo fight. He lost that TJ Dillashaw fight. He loses every single big fight he's in. He lost that Peter Yan fight. And I can't pick Cory Sanhagen to win a title shot anymore, dude. He's not that good. In terms of the elite out of the elite, Cory Sanhagen is good, but he's not beating the top guys of the division. And I didn't mean Cory Sanhagen's a bum. Obviously, Cory Sanhagen's not a bum, but he's not going to beat your Merabs. He might beat your O'Malley. I would love to see an O'Malley versus Sanhagen. That would be a dream matchup for me. And, yeah, dude, let's matchmake these fighters, though, because that's what we're going to do now, and I feel like doing it. The first fight I do have is going to be for Bot Nickel, and no, this is going to be really random, dude. Give him CLD. Give him CLD. Christian Leroy Duncan, dude. I don't even know what to do with Bo Nickel at this point. The guy's kind of cooked. I think if you're asking me personally, Bo Nickel should drop down the welterweight, dude. He's always been a little bit of a bigger middleweight. He's always been someone who looks like he can afford to lose a couple pounds, He's never really struggled making weight. He always looks healthy when he's making weight. So drop down to welterweight, dude. I honestly see no reason not to, Middleweight, you're not going to beat the Kamzats. You're not going to beat your Drickuses. You're not going to beat the guys at the top. And welterweight is arguably a more stacked division than middleweight, but I can just see Bo Nickel's wrestling just being a problem for some of the top guys like Shavkat, like Ian Gary. And just work on your striking, Bo Nickel, because it is abysmal. Send him to Thailand for 2-3 years and forget, brother. Christian Leroy Duncan, I don't really know what to do with this guy. I mean, he's like 4-2 in the UFC. He's coming off a win, I think a couple weeks ago in that London card. Not a couple weeks ago, probably like a month ago now. But he beat Andrew Poliev, someone who was coming off Dana White's Contender series, and it was pretty clear. I wanted him to finish. You would expect Christian Leroy Duncan to finish someone like Poliev, but that didn't happen. Christian Leroy Duncan, dude, he's one of those guys who's always going to be just outside the middleweight rankings. And Bo Nickel, you need to step back in competition because clearly you're not on the top level. So that's why I made this fight. It's a good fight. And Bo Nickel, if he wins this, he's back in. We can give him a couple more fights before he gets a ranked opportunity again. And Christian Leroy Duncan, if he wins this, well then give him a ranked shot. He deserves it. Yeah, let's move on to the next fight I am gonna make. It's gonna be Reinier versus Sean Strickland, dude. I know you're gonna hate me for this. You're gonna be like, bro, why are you trying to fast track Reinier? It is okay to fast track someone who has been so dominant in another organization, dude. We've seen Kaya Sakura literally get a title shot in his debut, and part of that is because the flyweight division just sucks. But it's not uncalled for this guy to fight Sean Strickland. I mean, Sean Strickland fought like number 8th, number 9th ranked Paulo Costa when he literally was just a champion a fight before that. Reinier, dude, you can fast track this guy. He's been dominant in another organization, and also this guy was riding a 2-fight winning streak, and for some reason he took a step down and fought someone outside the rankings whilst he was already ranked. I like this fight, dude. Sean Strickland needs a big step down in competition, and because let's be honest, guys, would Sean Strickland really be in title contention or really in the top 5 if this kid didn't fluke a win over Izzy? This kid fluked a win over Izzy, and everyone's talking about this guy like he's champion material. No, he's not champion material, dude. Dricus du Plessis proved that Sean Strickland is just a bomb, dude. I'm sorry for hating on Sean Strickland too much, but Sean Strickland's not that good. Sean Strickland's a bum, and he would have never even been in the top 5. He was known as the top 10 guy before he fluked to win over Izzy. I genuinely think he was ranked like, what, 5th? I think he was like 5th when he beat Izzy. So, Sean Strickland, dude, you're going to take a massive step down in competition. If he wins, well then, okay, you picked up a nice little win. It's not going to do much for you, Sean Strickland. But if Reinier beats Sean Strickland, dude, that would spice up the middleweight division so much. And I'd be really happy for Reinier because, like I said, he's one of my favorite fighters now. Make this fight. And, yeah, let's talk about the next fight. The next fight I do have to make is going to be Devon Figuredo versus Chito Vera or Mario Batista, the winner of that fight, which will take place at UFC 316, dude. Devon Figueredo, he's ranked 5th right now. This is before the rankings will be updated. I assume he'll be ranked like 6th or 7th after the rankings update. See, what's Mario Batista ranked right now, dude? Mario Batista's 10th and Chito Vera's 7th. So the winner of this fight, you can give him a step up in competition, dude. Mario Batista's coming up a good group of wins. Obviously, he just beat Jose Aldo. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I won't be the judge of that. And Chito Vera, oh, I forgot that Chito Vera and Fuge. I forgot that Devon Figueredo and Chito Vera fought already. That's actually a real big casual mistake for me. But if Mario Batista does win this fight, well then we can do Mario Batista versus Chito Vera, or sorry, Mario Batista versus Devon Figueredo. I think that'd be a good fight to make. And I'm gonna move on to this because I don't want to talk about it because I kind of just exposed myself for being a casual. I forgot that Chito Vera and Devon Figueredo fought. That's low-key a dumb matchmaking decision for me. But let's talk about it. Cory Sanhagen, who I want Cory Sanhagen to fight next. I said earlier, I don't believe Cory Sanhagen should be in a title shot. I don't think he's really worthy of it. I think he just got defeated by Umar Nurmagomedov, and I'm tired of all these guys getting one win and thinking, oh, bro, I deserve a title shot. No, you don't, dude. Cory Sanhagen, you fumbled every big chance the UFC has gave you. You lost to TJ Dillashaw, and then they decided to give you an interim title shot against Peter Yan. Yeah, buddy, you've been handed a lot in your UFC career. Don't sit here and beg for a UFC title shot. You don't deserve it that much. But the loser of Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley, obviously TJ Dillashaw has, not TJ Dillashaw. Obviously Cory Sanhagen has never fought Merab Dvalishvili or Sean O'Malley, and a lot of people want to see Sean O'Malley lose, and a lot of people want to see Sean O'Malley versus Cory Sanhagen. That is a dream matchup, including for me, including a bunch of other people. If Merab wins, I assume he'll get an instant rematch. But either way, if they don't want to give Merab an instant rematch, well, then we can do Merab versus Cory Sanhagen. Cory Sanhagen would probably just get dominated in the grappling department. But still, dude, Cory Sanhagen, Peter Yan should get the next title shot after Merab, or after O'Malley gets the title shot. You know, if O'Malley wins, well, then we can do O'Malley versus Peter Yan too, because that was a really close fight. And we can do Merab versus Cory Sanhagen, because we've never seen that fight before. And yeah, dude, I know I messed up a little bit with Devon Figuredo versus Chito Vera, the winner of that fight. But basically, Devon Figueredo should fight Mario Batista only if he wins in that fight. And yeah, man, it was a fun fight night we just had. And I'll see you guys in the next one. MMA Outpost out.